Hello and welcome. Tonight, President Bola Tinubu ascends to the bill reverting to the old national anthem as he attends a joint sitting of the National Assembly. Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Olukayode Ariwola, summons judges of the federal and state high courts in Kano over conflicting interim injunctions regarding the Kano Emirate. And in continuation of our appraisal of President Bola Tinubu's 1 year in office, we beam our searchlight on industrial and labor relations.
On business news tonight, Minister of State for Petroleum Resources Oil, Senator Heineken Lupobri, assures Nigerians that payment of fuel subsidy has officially ended.
On sports news tonight, Tyson Fury's rematch with undisputed heavyweight champion Alexander Usyk set to take place on Saturday, December 21st in Riyadh.
From Abuja, the nation's capital, President Bola Tinubu inaugurates the Abuja Light Rail project, approves extension of free train ride till the end of the year.
And in international news from London, White House spokesperson John Kirby has said the US does not believe Israel has launched a full-scale invasion of Rafah in Gaza.
It's now official. When next you attend an official function and it's time for the national anthem to be rendered, Nigeria, we hail thee, is what will rend the air. This follows the signing of the bill reverting to the old national anthem today at a joint sitting of the National Assembly in commemoration of 25 years of Nigeria's unbroken democracy. The president enjoined the National Assembly to cooperate in building the nation for generations yet unborn. Our National Assembly correspondent, Gloria Umezioke, reports.
It's a joint sitting of both chambers in commemoration of 25 years of the nation's democratic journey. For the first time in the history of the Fourth Republic, President Bola Tinubu is attending, not to present the budget. Minutes past noon, President Bola Tinubu, accompanied by the Vice President, is admitted into the Green Chamber, where a host of past lawmakers, as well as governors earlier admitted, are present. President Tinubu has just signed the National Anthem Bill 2024 into law, prompting the joint sitting to jettison the 46-year-old anthem, standing in respect as a different tune reverberates. In his welcome address, the president of the Senate, Senator Godswill Akpabio, explains that it is not a day for long speeches.
You just greet us. You may say what, you may wave, you may stand up and take a bow, because this is the chambers. However you do it, and thereafter, we will allow you to take your exit while we continue with our proceedings. You intend to celebrate Democracy Day, which is June 12th. But out of honor and respect for the National Assembly, you said you must pass through the National Assembly on your first anniversary in office.
See, this is our diversity. We have no other choice. It is our nation. No one, no age, no other institution or personality will help us. We are walking the talk. I will soon bring the year 2024 appropriation bill. That is just for your information.
After the brief speech, another attempt is launched to familiarize with the reintroduced national anthem.
May we now rise for the national anthem.
President Bola Tinubu immediately proceeds to commission the new National Assembly Library Complex named after him. From the National Assembly, Gloria Umezuke, Channels Television News.
Now, after attending the joint sitting of the National Assembly, President Bola Tinubu then proceeded to attend another event in the nation's capital, where he has extended the free train rides, which was initially declared for 2 months, to 7 months. The president made the announcement at the Abuja metro station during the flag-off ceremony of the commercial operation of the Abuja light rail project. The president also said the commencement of the project is a testament that his administration delivers on its promises. Dignitaries in attendance include the Vice President, Kashim Shettima, the President of the Senate, the Deputy Senate President, the Deputy Speaker, the Chief Justice of Nigeria, the FCT Minister, other federal cabinet members, and top government officials. Our correspondent, Kumbi Abuluwade, reports.
President Bola Tinubu arrives at the Abuja metro station to flag off the commercial operation of the first phase of the Abuja rail mass transit system. The president is received by his host, the FCT minister, in the company of the Minister of State for the FCT. Also in attendance are Vice President Kashim Shettima, the Senate President, the Deputy Senate President, the Deputy Speaker, the Chief Justice of Nigeria, federal cabinet members, and other top government officials. The first phase of the project would run from the Central Business District to the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, with 4 stations in between. The FCT Minister, Mr. Nyesom Wike, highlights the support of the President in the revival of the rail system.
I've heard people say that this has been commissioned before. What was commissioned is the metro station, not the operational. Because you can't have a train station when it is not in use. So when people talk about the new hope, it's as if it is just mere talk. It's a reality. I want to use Abuja to showcase that the New Hope agenda is real, is working, and is practical.
On the part of the president, the revival of these projects is a testament that his administration delivers on promises. He also declared free train rides for the next 7 months.
Abuja Light Rail Metro stands as the symbol of progress, connectivity, inclusivity. It signifies our determination to modernize our transportation infrastructure. Today, what we have in the Federal Capital Territory is another piece of evidence that we are a government that delivers on promises.
After his speech, President Tinubu proceeds to take a ride alongside other invited guests. He arrives at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, which is the last point of the first phase. The long-anticipated Abuja rail mass transit system has now officially kicked off with this flag-off ceremony. With the announcement of free train rides by the president, residents of the nation's capital can now access this facility for the next 7 months. Kumbi Abuluwade, Channels Television News.
Let's head back to the National Assembly, where members of the Green Chamber had a plenary where the House was divided over the use of mercenaries to combat terrorism and kidnapping. Some lawmakers feared that it would breed more insecurity, while others believe it would complement the actions of the security agencies. Meanwhile, the House has passed a resolution to investigate the mass retrenchment in the central bank. Our National Assembly correspondent Terry Kumi reports.
It's an emergency plenary session in the House of Representatives to commemorate 25 years of Nigeria's uninterrupted democracy. As the House awaits the arrival of the President, matters of urgent national importance are considered, most bordering on security.
If you look at the areas most prone to insecurity today in Nigeria, and you compare them with the statistics on the degree or percentage of poverty established by world bodies, you will discover that the places most affected by insecurity today in Nigeria are the poorest part of Nigeria. They are the least educated part of Nigeria. Fact.
I fully support all the contributions and ask that we take a day for us to discuss this issue of insecurity on the floor of this House and perhaps declare or urge the executive arm to declare an emergency on insecurity.
I would suggest, just like the minority leader pointed out, we choose a date to handle only the issue of insecurity and the way forward.
Lawmakers disagree on an amendment to the motion to hire the services of mercenaries to fight banditry and kidnapping.
I urge us to at least look at the alternative of bringing in mercenaries to assist our existing military and other agents of coercion on ground to end insecurity in the country.
We agreed that what we are fighting is asymmetric war. It is not a normal war that you can invite mercenaries that you are comparing to Ukraine and the other country. These are war that is not known to the system. So please, inviting mercenaries will create more insecurity for us in the future.
The amendment is eventually stepped down. A related motion bordering on the safety of law enforcement agencies is considered and adopted.
We are paying that thousands of law enforcement officers attacked by civilians who are injured or even killed in line with their duty. Right, Honourable Speaker, we are concerned that the country will continue to lose more dedicated and gallant law enforcement officers if measures are not being put in place.
In the meantime, the attention of the House is drawn to the mass retrenchment by the central bank.
Worried that these retrenchments, without any sort of fair hearings or panels or criteria set out, could cost the nation a lot in settlements. Terminating appointments arbitrarily will amount to killing the morale of junior stars, not knowing what their own fates could be.
The House mandated Committee on Banking Regulations to look into the reforms of the CBN, which have warranted the downsizing. Terry Ikumi, Channels Television News.
Now, the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taoreed Lagbaja, has commended the military for the successes recorded in securing the nation since President Bola Tinubu was inaugurated a year ago. Speaking on our special program to appraise President Tinubu's first year in office, General Lagbaja also says the army has begun local production of weapons and ammunition and is calling on the government to make their jobs easier.
Looking back at where we were 1 year ago and the threats that confront us as a nation, I will say that the troops in the field and even the staff at the headquarters deserve the highest commendation for working in a very difficult environment and delivering results despite the challenges. Local manufacturing of military hardware is ongoing, not only within the military, but by other businesses. Proforce is doing its own, Imperium in Kaduna is doing, the machine tool in Osogbo is doing a lot. In those days, our personal protective equipment, we used to import almost everything from abroad. And that is a drain on the foreign exchange of the country. But today, we get everything from these industries that I've mentioned, Proforce, Imperium, Nigerian machine tools. And even within the military, our electrical and mechanical corps has been able to sit down and see how they can do reverse engineering and address some challenges that confront us. The government must be able to bring about developmental activity like building roads to help in military operation and to assuage the whatever are the grievances of the people.
In part two, after the break, we'll bring you more on how the Bola Tinubu administration has fared on industrial and labor relations. Please stay with us. Just joined us, you're watching the news at 10, coming to you live on Channels Television from Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. President Bola Tinubu assents to the bill reverting to the old national anthem as he attends a joint sitting of the National Assembly. Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Olukayode Aruwola, summons Chief Judges of the Federal High Court and Kano High Court over conflicting interim injunctions regarding the Kano Emirate. In continuation of our appraisal of President Bola Tinubu's 1 year in office, we beam our searchlight on industrial and labor relations. And White House spokesman John Kirby says the U.S. does not believe Israel has launched a full-scale invasion of Rafah in southern Gaza. Over now to the judiciary, where the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court, Justice John Soho, and the Chief Judge of the Kano State High Court, Justice DJ Aboki, have been summoned by the Chief Justice of Nigeria and Chairman National Judicial Council, Justice Olukayode Aruwola, for an emergency meeting in his chambers tomorrow, Thursday, May the 30th this year. A statement by the NJC's Director of Information, Soji Oye, said the meeting, which is a prelude to a whole-scale investigation by the NJC, is to enable the CJN have a proper briefing with the two chief judges on the very disturbing development and conflicting judgments emanating from the Federal High Court and the Kano State High Court of Justice with respect to the stool of the Emir of Kano. There are strong indications that the National Judicial Council will also conduct an emergency meeting next week, where the particular judges concerned are likely to be invited and subjected to serious investigations. Still on the Kano Emirate saga, the Nigerian Bar Association, the NBA, has called for punitive actions against lawyers and judges involved in the issuance of conflicting orders in the legal tussle. The body says the actions of lawyers and judges have brought utter disgrace and shame to the profession and have exposed the entire legal profession in Nigeria to public ridicule. In a statement by its president, Yakubu Mekial, the NBA vowed to drag any lawyer found culpable in the matter before the Legal Practitioners Disciplinary Committee for deserved appropriate sanctions. Mr. Mekial called on the chief judges of the Federal High Court and his counterparts in the High Court of Kano State to identify the judicial officers involved and drag them before the National Judicial Council for disciplinary action. Away from Kano, but still staying with legal matters, a federal high court sitting in Lagos today has again ordered the interim forfeiture of the sum of $1.4 million linked to the former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, the CBN, Mr. Godwin Emefiele. Justice Ayokunle Faji ordered the forfeiture of the money to the federal government of Nigeria. The judge also ordered the EFCC to publish the interim forfeiture order in a national newspaper for anyone interested in the money sought to be forfeited to appear before the court and show cause within 14 days, while the final order of forfeiture of the said sum should not be made. The court made the above orders while granting an ex parte application moved by the Council to the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, the EFCC, Bilkisu Buhari Bala. Now, the money forfeited in the interim is said to be in Donatone Limited's account and domiciled in Titan Bank Limited. Justice Faji had adjourned the matter to June the 25th for hearing of the final forfeiture of the money. On May the 23rd, Justice Yelin Bogoro of the same court had ordered an interim forfeiture of the sums of $4,719,054 and $830,875,611 naira, and several properties also linked to the former CBN governor, Mr. Godwin Emefiele. At today's proceedings, Mrs. Buhari Bala told the court that the orders sought for are pursuant to Section 17 of the Advanced Fee Fraud and Other Fraud-Related Offences Act No. 14 of 2006 and Section 44(2)(b) of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Poverty eradication, growth and job creation are some of the key promises of President Bola Tinubu's administration upon his assumption of office on May the 29th, 2023. In continuation of our appraisal of how far he has kept to those promises, our next report examines how the administration has fared with regards to labor matters.
Nigeria began a new 4-year journey in governance when on May the 29th, 2023, President Bola Tinubu took over the mantle of leadership from his predecessor, Muhammadu Buhari.
I, Bola Ahmed Tinubu,
The then newly sworn-in president appears to have an understanding of what Nigerians expect of him, as he outlines his administration's blueprint, carefully christened the 8-point agenda. The 8-point agenda, or focus area of the President Tinubu's administration, include food security, poverty eradication, job creation, and access to capital. We spotlight the promises to eradicate poverty and to create jobs, as some Nigerians appraise the Tinubu's administration 1 year after.
A loaf of bread today is 2,000 naira, and the minimum wage is 30,000. Put the two together, you can find out the condition of Nigerian workers. So I can tell you workers and pensioners have not fared well.
We have this case of hyperinflation, the case of insecurity, increase in fuel prices, and there's no increase in the Nigerian workers' salary.
The implementation of some recent policies of government, such as the fuel subsidy removal and increase in electricity tariff, has no doubt made the prices of goods and services to surge, throwing up a new debate about salaries and the living wage.
If you have a good minimum wage, it has a way of pushing people out of poverty because the disposable income is going to increase. Once disposable income increases, you have more money to spend.
Minimum wage is already a law in more than 90 countries of the world where you have the minimum. But now the minimum certainly cannot take care of workers. We are now talking of living wage.
Data from the National Bureau of Statistics revealed that Nigerians' unemployment rate stood at 4.2% as of the second quarter of 2023, while an estimated 133 million people were multidimensionally poor. The latest report by the National Bureau of Statistics shows a worsening unemployment data. According to the report, unemployment in Nigeria reached 5.0%. Meanwhile, the World Bank's 2023 report also puts poverty rate in the country at 38.9%, representing 87 million poor people living in the country. The worsening state of the economy has constantly pushed the organized labor against the government, as workers protest across the country, requesting for better wages.
NLC is sounding it loud and clear that Nigerians are hungry, that there's insecurity everywhere, that the wage is insufficient.
However, the federal government continues to promise better wages for workers.
Once again, let me assure you, with the utmost sincerity, that every initiative undertaken by this administration is geared towards transforming Nigeria. Indeed, this government is open to the committee's suggestion of not just a minimum wage, but a living wage.
The federal government says it is also improving on vocational education as a way to address growing unemployment.
Unemployment is caused by one of two things. A person becomes poor and unemployed if he's lacking in skills. Then secondly, even where a person has skills, if that person is lacking in startup capital. So once you tackle the issue of having vocational skills acquisition centers where people can go to acquire skills, you have addressed more than 50% of unemployment. That is why people have to acquire skills so that after their educational attainment, they should be able to stand on their own, because the main thing these days is self-employment.
Despite having the largest economy and population in Africa, Nigeria offers limited opportunities to most of its citizens, as weak job creation and entrepreneurial prospects impedes the employment of an estimated 3.5 million citizens who enter the labor force annually.
Still ahead on the news at 10, Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Oil, Senator Heineken Lokwobiri assures Nigerians that payment of fuel subsidy has officially stopped. That will be on Business News. Please join us again. Welcome back. So let's head to the nation's capital now, where Gloria Umezuke is standing by to give us the very latest from our Abuja studios. Hello, Gloria.
Many thanks, Ayo. The former president of Nigeria, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, says the country's economy can perform better if those saddled with the task of governance at all levels focus on projects that will stimulate growth and attract investment. Chief Obasanjo stated this shortly before commissioning the Jimeta grade interchange constructed by Governor Ahmadu Fintiri to ease traffic flow in Yola, the Adamawa state capital.
The Jimeta grade interchange, which was constructed to complement the flyover earlier completed at Nasarawa Junction, has not only enhanced the free flow of traffic, but has added to the aesthetic beauty of Yola, the capital of Adamawa state. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo, who saddled with the responsibility of commissioning the project, says it's unique not only because it's the first of its kind in this part of the country, but has been executed in accordance with specification through prudent management of available funds.
Here you have 3 facilities on the same. You have an underpass, you have an overbridge, you have, and then a road that goes on Nana ground. 3, what? You are doing so well, and that's why I've come. You are doing so well that you must continue to do well, because the sky is the limit. I'm not saying more than that.
Governor Ahmadu Fintiri sheds more light on the project.
This is perhaps the fastest delivered project of its kind in this part of the world. To those skeptics who doubted its completion, I invite you to enjoy what only vision, courage, and commitment can accomplish.
The Commissioner of Works and Energy Development describes the project as a worthy investment.
The commissioner of this monumental, symbolic, legacy signature project today not only makes the urban renewal campaign of this administration a reality, but also proves that with the right mindset, the political will, and unwavering determination, nothing can prevent us from actualizing the Adamawa state of our dreams.
I hope they will get more like this. So be it, God.
The high point of the event is the official commissioning of the grade interchange, now renamed Unity Bridge, by Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, alongside Governor Ahmadu Fintiri and other dignitaries.
A former military head of state, General Abdulsalami Abubakar, has charged Nigeria's leaders at all levels to lead with the fear of God and abide by the tenets of democracy, stating that this is the only way to sustain the 25 years of unbroken democracy. General Abubakar, who was given a special recognition and award for his contributions to democracy by the Leadership Scorecard publications, congratulated Nigerians on this milestone and urged everyone to always embrace peace and dialogue in the interest of democracy.
The Leadership Scorecard, alongside several Nigerians from all walks of life, is holding this lecture and award ceremony to mark 25 years of unbroken democracy in Nigeria and the contributions of a former head of state to its current experience. Former military head of state, General Abdulsalami Abubakar, has a message for Nigeria's leaders.
We handed over 25 years ago, and democracy is growing from strength to strength. I congratulate us, and I want Nigerians to ensure that this democracy continues, and those in authorities should do governance with all sincerity, equity, and justice.
The keynote speaker, Professor Patrice Lumumba, cautions that Africa must practice a democracy that works for it.
There is a sense in which they want to tell us how to run our affairs. But today, as we interrogate what democracy is, I want to suggest to this audience that democracy must be understood contextually and that there is no one-size-fits democracy.
In their goodwill messages, some of the guests pay glowing tribute to the contributions of General Abubakar to Nigeria's democracy.
I'm also supposed to be in my home state to celebrate the day. But because of the great honor I have to the former president, General Salam Abubakar, I said I must to come and witness this occasion.
25 years of our democracy, and there is no doubt, I am sure we're all in agreement, that there's one individual, if the story of Nigeria's democracy is written, there's one individual whose name cannot be forgotten, cannot be missed out, and that is our dear father, General Abdulsalami Abubakar.
When they mention the name of General Abubakar Salami, I just have to. You have not mentioned here that he is our chairman, the chairman of the National Peace Committee.
The general submission at this event is that as Nigeria begins its journey to another 25 years of democracy, all hands must be on deck to make sure it is equally unbroken.
Governor Dauda Lawal of Zamfara State has commissioned the newly renovated and upgraded Block A part of the state secretariat, marking a significant milestone in his administration's efforts to improve government infrastructure and enhance administrative efficiency. The renovation is part of the governor's agenda to create a conducive working environment for civil servants and to facilitate effective governance.
The inauguration of the renovated Zamfara State Secretariat is part of activities to mark the governor's 1 year in office as chief executive of the state.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. You may wish to take your seats.
For the Secretary to the State Government, this underscores Governor Dauda Lawal's commitment to modernizing the state's administrative infrastructure, adding that it will boost workers' morale, productivity, and service delivery.
Indeed, the commitment of His Excellency's administration to reinvigorate the public service by system strengthening in order to provide a conducive working environment is heartwarming. By modernizing our public service infrastructure, we are not only enhancing the aesthetic appeal to our workspace, but also improving functionality and efficiency in the way we deliver service to the ordinary common man of Zamfara State.
In his remark, Governor Lawal emphasizes the importance of providing a well-maintained and modern workplace for government workers.
What we are witnessing today is the beginning of our plans to enhance the service and boost the morale of workers in order to enhance productivity. We will continue to unveil more welfare packages for the workers in due course, inshallah.
He then goes ahead to inaugurate the project. Governor Lawal also outlined future plans to renovate other parts of the Secretariat and improve public infrastructure and services across Zamfara State.
The Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara has scored his administration high in the past 1 year, despite facing what he called an unprecedented political challenge in the state. Governor Fubara, who spoke during a public presentation of his account of stewardship in the past 1 year, says his administration is marked by significant achievements in infrastructure, economy, education, and healthcare development.
Recall that we promised to deliver to our people our core priorities of economic growth, infrastructural, healthcare, education, and agriculture, as contained in our blueprints for building a viral, resilient, and progressive state that caters to the needs of the people. Today, I am proud to report that despite the unprecedented challenge, our first year was marked by significant achievements. We can all see and attest to. Our goal is to build a strong, resilient, and sustainable economic system to advance the security and well-being of all who live and do business in our states. I have been inspired by your unconditional love and support to never give up and to rather work harder to deliver more quality social economic projects and services to our states and make life more meaningful for all.
Well, that's it on the nation's capital. And for more on the news at 10, it's back to you, Ayo.
Thank you so much, Gloria. Tourism development in Africa cannot be discussed without the mention of the Gambia, which says it is poised to become the next big tourist destination. This was made known at the just concluded Gambia-Nigeria Economic, Trade and Tourism Investment Forum in Lagos, Nigeria. The aim of the forum was to explore opportunities for economic cooperation and growth and present the Gambia as a jewel of tourism in West Africa.
This is the Gambia-Nigeria Economic Forum holding in Lagos, Nigeria, organized by the government of the Gambia as part of an outreach to Nigeria. The air is thick with promise and anticipation. Industry experts, investors and officials from both countries are here to explore ways to strengthen ties. The spotlight is on tourism with the Gambia.
This mission underscores the importance that we attach to Nigeria as an emerging non-traditional source market. Nigeria has emerged as the most promising sub-regional source market due to the strong bilateral and friendly relationship that has been forged over the years between the Gambia and the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
The Gambia, often referred to as the smiling coast of Africa, offers an array of attractions.
This sales blitz aims to relaunch the Gambia as a premier tourism destination for Nigerians. We are confident that our unique selling point, such as our pristine beaches, our rich cultural heritage, our peace, our security, and our warm hospitality will leave a lasting impression and heighten your interest in investing in our country, the Gambia.
Industry players are given recognition for their unwavering support.
My first hostility aired the first country to accept or to actually listen to what the capital since I came to the roots. Before Kenya in 2008, today every African is going everywhere talking about that, but they didn't know how those steps back in Sudan. Gambia has done a lot. It's a small country, but they've done a lot in trying to get the African and India good.
The Gambia Minister of Tourism believes tourism is a product and should be developed.
Tourism is everybody's business because its contribution to GDP and revenue that it generates, as well as employment that it is created, is massive. So it is the responsibility of all governments to do all that it could to promote and, market your destinations. And that's why we are here.
With the successful launch of this forum, the Gambia declares itself open for business and pleasure and poised to emerge as a beacon of tourism in West Africa, and Nigeria stands as a pivotal ally.
Business News is up next with Melinda Akilami.
Many thanks, Ayotunde. Welcome to Business News. Payment of fuel subsidy by the federal government has ended, contrary to claims in several quarters, and that's an official confirmation by the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Oil, Senator Heineken Lopobiri. He made this known today on our special program marking the first year of President Bola Tinubu's administration. The minister also highlighted some of the expectations awaiting the country's oil and gas sector later this year. Nigeria's equities market has maintained its winning streak for a third consecutive session on gains from high-value equities. Willie Bong has details.
Welcome to the stock market report. It's been positive movement since the start of trade this week, and this is definitely great for the NGX index as it rose higher today by 0.44% to close at 98,818.04 points. And analysts did say that when the NGX breaks this resistance level of 98,429 points, the NGX all-share index would regain the 100K level, but that's yet to be seen, and we don't know if that's going to hold. But the market value did feel that boost, about 246 billion naira to close at 55.889 trillion naira. Now, stocks in the banking, consumer goods, and industrial goods sectors contributed to this positive performance. We saw stocks like Lafarge hyping this counter, the industrial goods counter. The tier 1 banks have been rallying since the start of the week, and consumer goods counter is not doing so badly with a 0.85% increase today. Now, international breweries and Dangote Sugar were largely responsible for that, but Dangote Sugar was the outlier here. The share price gained 4 naira 10 kobo to close at 47 naira. Today marks President Tinubu's 1 year in office, and it's been 1 year of Tinubu's at the NGX, as the NGX market has recorded a lot of highs, but has also recorded a lot of downtimes as well. But let's see what the next 1 year will hold for the NGX. And that's the stock market report for today. Will Ibang signing out. That's Business News. Is back to you, Ayotunde.
Thanks, Melinda. Jurors in Donald Trump's historic criminal trial began deliberations this morning. Well, the 12 New Yorkers must now reach a unanimous verdict. Here's Simon Pusey with other international news in around the world in 5.
Good evening and welcome to the Channel's studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. The White House spokesman John Kirby has said the US does not believe Israel has launched a full-scale invasion of Rafah in southern Gaza. He spoke hours after Israeli forces reached the center of the city and reportedly seized a strategically important hill overlooking the nearby border with Egypt. US President Joe Biden said this month he would limit weapons supplied to Israel if it entered the population centers of Rafah, where hundreds of thousands of civilians are still believed to be sheltering. Mr. Kirby was also questioned about an Israeli strike and a resulting fire that killed at least 45 Palestinians, many of them women and children, at a camp for displaced people on Sunday.
We have been, I think, very strident in our condemnations about the deaths of innocent civilians. These deaths are not excused from that. But we have to understand what happened here. There's going to be an investigation. They've already said it was a tragic mistake. They're looking into it. They have been able to investigate themselves and hold people accountable in the past. We'll see what they do here. One of the things that we've talked about with the Israelis about the manner in which some of these operations are being conducted is the real danger that Israel itself could become further isolated from the international community.
Early investigations into severe turbulence that hit a Singapore Airlines flight last Tuesday reveal it dropped around 178 feet in over 4.6 seconds. One British passenger died and dozens more were injured when the London to Singapore flight encountered the turbulence over Myanmar and had to make an emergency landing in Thailand. Singaporean investigators have extracted data stored in the flight data recorder and cockpit voice recorder of the aircraft. Singapore Airlines said it was cooperating with investigators and supporting affected passengers and crew, including with medical and hospital expenses. North Korea has dropped at least 260 balloons carrying rubbish in the south, prompting authorities to warn its residents to stay indoors. South Korea's military also cautioned the public against touching the white balloons and the plastic bags attached to them because they contain waste and trash. The balloons have been found in 8 of 9 provinces in South Korea and are now being analysed. North and South Korea have both used balloons in their propaganda campaigns since the Korean War in the 1950s. South Africans are voting in pivotal general elections in which the ANC could lose its majority for the first time since 1994. The party that ended apartheid is under fire over corruption, high levels of crime and economic woes. It may be forced to enter into a coalition with one or more opposition parties. A record 70 parties are participating, with the second biggest likely to be the DA. A pilot has been seriously injured after his fighter jet crashed into a hillside in New Mexico. The F-35 jet went down near International Sunport in Albuquerque while traveling to an Air Force base in California. A spokesperson said the crash happened after the pilot stopped to refuel at Kirtland Air Force Base in New Mexico. The cause of the accident is being investigated. Colombia's Congress has passed a bill which will ban bullfighting across the Andean country from 2027. The ban is the culmination of a vocal campaign by animal rights activists who have long argued the practice is cruel. Bullfighting was introduced in Colombia by the Spanish during colonial times and became very popular, drawing thousands of spectators to large bull rings in cities such as Bogotá, Medellín and Manizales. The bill still needs to be signed by the president, Gustavo Petro, but as he has backed the ban, this is considered to be a formality. And a study has found ancient Egyptians appear to have carried out surgery on people with cancerous cells. Researchers examined 2 skulls held at the University of Cambridge's Duckworth collection. An international team of researchers studied 2 human skulls, each thousands of years old, and found extraordinary evidence of attempts to treat cancer, including incisions around lesions, which were likely made with a sharp object, such as a metal instrument. This may indicate that although modern lifestyles, people living longer and cancer-causing substances in the environment are all associated with an increased cancer risk, cancer was also common thousands of years ago. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the channel's studios in Lagos.
Thank you, Simon. Olympiacos became the first Greek club ever to win an European title by defeating Fiorentina 1-0 after extra time in the Europa Conference League final. Moroccan striker Ayoub El Khabib scored the winning goal in the 116th minute, which allowed Jose Luis Mendiles' side to make history in the home of local rivals AEK Athens. Bayern Munich's long search to fill their vacant head coach position is over, with the German giants naming Vincent Kompany as manager in a shock move. Bayern have decided for Kompany taking a risk on an inexperienced yet promising candidate in one of the biggest jobs in football. Alexander Usyk will face Tyson Fury in a rematch on December 21st in Riyadh after winning the undisputed heavyweight boxing bout earlier this month. And that's it on Sports News. Back to you, Ayo.
Many thanks, Dominic. And the main news again. President Bola Tinubu today assented to the National Anthem Bill 2024, reverting to the old national anthem as he attended a joint sitting of the National Assembly as part of activities to mark his administration's first year in office. Now, the anthem, which starts with Nigeria We Hail Thee, was rendered at 2 events attended by the president today. That's the news at 10 tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Ayo Tunde Balogun. You have a good night and please stay safe.